Okay, so apparently YouTube is not doing the live thing, but that's okay because I am doing this video for you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. So whenever you see this video, I know y'all see me, moving around in the kitchen, but this is for a purpose. So we're talking this evening about herbs that help with the respiratory system. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because I've spoken to a couple of people over the last few days that have been sick with respiratory issues, and so I thought it appropriate to make a video about some herbs that I know of that help with respiratory issues. Now, one of the herbs that we're just going to go ahead and get started that I'm going to talk about is horsetail. So if you are not familiar, this is what horsetail looks like, right? And I have my phone because I'm also on Clubhouse. So for you guys that are joining on YouTube or any other social media where you can see the video, that's what's happening. So real time. So I'm adding the horsetail, just like a handful of horsetail, to boiling water. And when you boil you can boil the horsetail in the water and inhale the vapors. And inhaling the vapors from the horsetail, because of the ingredients in the horsetail, which include anti-inflammatories. So in doing that, you are inhaling the oils and everything that is in the horsetail, including the steam from the water, of course, and it opens up the airways. So if you can think about it like this, like when you really think about your respiratory system, you're thinking about what you are breathing in, taking in through your nostrils, right? Down your throat, right? Into your bronchial tubes and into your lungs, right? So all of those things have to happen to be a part of your respiratory system, right? Because you can get, as we knew them, chest colds, which is an upper respiratory infection. So things like chest colds, sinusitis, tonsillitis, those things are upper respiratory infections because it's the upper part of your body. And then the lower respiratory system infections are in, like, they would be in your lungs and in the lower part of your respiratory system. So when you have, you can get horsetail, you can go to my website, www.consciouscreations.live, and pick up some horsetail. But again, horsetail is a really good herb for cleaning out the mucus and the inflammation in your respiratory system. Now, the reason this is important, because if you guys are not familiar with the work of the late Dr. Sebi, Dr. Sebi talked a lot about mucus and inflammation being the primary causes of dis-ease, if you will, in your body, right? And I'll talk to you guys about the tea that I'm making in just a second. But he talked a lot about inflammation and mucus being the cause of dis-eases. So that's one of the reasons that having this conversation about the different herbs with the respiratory system is important, because some of these herbs that we're going to talk about, they help with, they act as a detox for the system in general, but also an astringent. And if you can think about, like, ladies or gentlemen, if you're using astringent on your face, then if you're using astringent on your face, you know that what it does is it pulls, right? It contracts. And so the same thing works internally as it does externally, right? As above, so below, as within, so without. So if you are consuming a substance that contains astringent properties, it is cleansing out the excess within your body. So some of the things that you can do for cleansing out excess is to add an herb that has astringent properties. And so let's talk about some of those herbs just now. You guys pardon all the boxes in the background. You'll see my shipping my shipping supplies and things like that. So as I'm getting orders and things prepared, I wanted you guys to have an insight into some of these herbs and things like that. So one such herb is calendula. So if you are not familiar, calendula is and somebody correct me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. That's how I pronounce it. Tomorrow I may say it differently. It is what it is. So anyway, this is a flower. It's a yellow flower. It almost looks like it's yellow, like not like a daisy, but I think it's in the same family as the sunflower, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody, in the chat, correct me. But calendula is an astringent, and just like I was talking about, the way that it strips the excess externally, calendula acts to strip the excess internally, so you can use it for mucus. Now, here's the thing about calendula that is amazing. It helps with everything from herpes, right? Herpes, rashes. It produces collagen because of that antiseptic astringent property. It helps it helps to with like anti-aging, so to produce collagen in your body. And it stimulates the lymphatic system. Now, this is the reason that we're talking about it really today, is because, as you know, when there's inflammation, bacteria, virus, whatever it may be in your system, you'll experience possible swelling in the lymph nodes, because this is your body's, I think of it as your body's first line of defense, of letting you know that something is happening, right? Because you put something into your mouth, into your oral cavities, right? So into your mouth, it goes down your throat, right? So everything has to pass your throat. So the same if you are breathing something in. So if you're breathing in a toxin, right? It goes in through your nostrils, in through the back of your throat, down your throat. So it has to pass through all of these channels before it gets to the heart, before it gets to the lungs. And so what calendula does is it cleanses the lymphatic system. So if there is something going on, you want something that's going to cleanse the lymphatic system. Also, if you're not familiar, dry brushing. Actually, I have one upstairs, but to not take y'all all around the house. Dry brushing. You can get a dry brush. They're available on my website, www.consciouscreations.live. So you can get a dry brush and dry brush. This is something that I do sometimes before I get in the shower, but I'll dry brush to stimulate my lymphatic system. Now, you'll see there's other videos. You can go to YouTube, Google, whatever the case may be, and look up dry brushing, because some people say that there is a process by which you do so. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, just keeping it a buck. But I think I forgot my tea, y'all. I gotta take y'all back with me to get my tea. But with dry brushing, oh no, it's right here. So with the dry brushing, it enables the body to release, to release the toxins that are in the lymphatic system. Now, you want to make sure that you're drinking lots of water to flush. And this is where a good diuretic will come in, because diuretics, as you know, help they increase urine, they increase urination so that your body can expel any toxins. So what happens is with the diuretics, they flush through your body's filtration system, which is your kidneys and your liver. So if you have a good diuretic, you can flush out those toxins. Now, one of the you may hear my dog barking. Holy basil. That's another herb that we're going to talk about today as I move on to talk about diuretics. Holy basil, Batman, right? So, so holy basil actually is that herb, right? It's what, there's many herbs that are that herb, but holy basil is that herb, which is probably why it's called holy basil. But in any event, holy basil is a powerful anti-inflammatory, because remember, folks, this is all about inflammation, which is your body's natural defense system saying, hey, there's something happening here. There's their body itself is fighting against itself, or there is a foreign invader that is attacked that the body is trying to fight against. But either way, whatever it may be, inflammation is not necessarily, it's not, I don't think of inflammation as a quote unquote bad thing. I think of it as the body's alarm system, if you will. The body's saying, hey, there's something going on. I need you to look at this specific thing. So, but you want to make sure that you are not so always inflamed, right? Where your body doesn't know when it's being attacked or when it's attacking itself, right? Because that's when you start to have issues, because your body doesn't know whether it's a foreign invader or if it's your body itself attacking itself. So that's where you want to make sure that you keep your inflammation levels down so that your body can alert you accordingly. That makes sense? I trust that it does. Okay, so holy basil relieves congestion and inflammation in the lungs. Because just remember, everything goes back to inflammation and mucus. Because the mucus buildup starts to, with enough mucus buildup, is you start to develop fluid in your lungs. Remember, all that wet, right, can build up in your lungs, and that's when you get things like bronchitis, pneumonia, things like that. So you want to keep the body as clean and as clear as possible so that it functions and operates like the well-oiled machine that it can be. So with holy basil, it's the oils in the holy basil that are the active ingredients that benefits the respiratory system. And like I said before, because it's a diuretic, when you consume it, it helps to flush out the toxins in the body through the kidneys and also through the liver. So holy basil is another herb that you want to add. So far we've talked about horsetail, calendula, and holy basil. And finally, we're going to talk about rosemary, because I love rosemary. I talk about rosemary all the time because it's an evergreen, which I think is absolutely amazing. So even right now, it's cold outside, there's snow on the ground, but the rosemary is still green. So that tells you a lot about its properties, right? It doesn't lose its life force when the weather changes. So the rosemary keeps going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny, so they say. So when you think about that, I like to think about rosemary as that herb that does a lot, because it is an anti-inflammatory, but it also helps with your memory. It also helps with brain functioning. The same is that I read this, where was that? It was, I'll have to tell y'all again. But either way, but it helps with brain functioning. And a lot of these herbs, because they help with inflammation, they also help with, again, reducing any inflammation that may be in or on the brain. Because if your brain is functioning properly, and if your brain, if there's no swelling or dis-ease in the brain, then it should stimulate what's the word that I want to use? It should stimulate better, if you will, better brain production, brain chemistry production, and help with neuroplasticity, which is your brain's way of being able to chart a different course, if you may, right? So think about herbs with that respect, specifically anti-inflammatories. Now, another thing that I always like to swear by are adaptogens, right? Adaptogens are herbs that help your body to build up its natural defenses. So if you find that your immune system is weak or has been compromised, then you want to add adaptogens into your body, because they literally help your body to adapt. So I like mushrooms a lot. So because I like coffee, right? So I like to add things like chaga, which is a mushroom, chaga powder, turkey tail, lion's mane. So those are all mushrooms that you can get in a powder form. I like to add those to my morning coffee, so that, as I'm drinking caffeine, which is also, it's actually a natural and mild bronchial defibrillator. Did you know that? Am I pronouncing that right? No, not defibrillator. Bronchial dilator, dilating the bronchial tube, so it opens up the airways. Did not know that. Learned that today. Wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was important as we talk about respiratory issues. So as I drink my natural bronchial dilator, right, I add turkey tail, lion's mane, chaga, or some other sort of immune boosting powder in it to help to stimulate the system. So I really hope that information helps you all. But before I go, I want to talk to you about this tea. So the tea of the evening. This is the tea of the evening, folks. I know you can barely see it. So this tea includes dandelion, which is good for the liver. This is essentially this is a detox tea, right? So it includes dandelion, holy basil, the Conscious Creations blend of antioxidant tea, ashwagandha, and our blend of Get Your Mind Right, right? Which is a blend of lemon balm, peppermint, and lemons. So all of that is in this detox tea, and that's what's on tap for the evening. So that is the tea this evening. So if y'all wanted to know, as we talk about respiratory issues and all that, the tea this evening is, put my little tea thing over here, is this detox tea. So I'll make sure that the detox tea is available on my website, so y'all get to see me in rare form today. But that's okay. Welcome to the Conscious Creations channel, because here we talk about all sorts of things that that people may be experiencing on the journey, on a limited basis, of course, as it pertains to what we're talking about here in Conscious Creations. Because the channel, as it is with the website, we promote health and wellness. Understanding, I'm not saying that anybody has to be vegan, vegetarian. That's not what this channel is about. But it's really about giving information, and pointing you all to things that could help. Because one of the things that made me start Conscious Creations as a company back in 2020 was I've been dealing for many years with back pain. And so in dealing with back pain, I was on a lot of narcotics, very heavy narcotics. And I just remember thinking I did not want to live my life taking pills. And so I decided to look for alternatives. And so the more I looked for alternatives, the more things that I found, the more creativity within myself I found as well. And so as I grew and learned about different things, I shared these things with folks. And as I learned more, I share these things with folks as well, because each one teach one, they say. And so I want to not only produce a great product that you guys will enjoy, but something that will be helpful for you on any level, mind, body, soul. So whether it be the name of a product that sparks something in you, that brings you a sense of joy, or whatever it does for you, my goal is that you leave better when you leave an encounter with Conscious Creations, whether it be on YouTube, on Clubhouse, through the website, through our products, whatever the case may be. But ultimately, the goal is that you leave in a better position than when you arrived. And so, folks, with that being said, we're here generally every Monday at 6 o'clock. So in the meantime, I always say, love yourself well. You deserve it. You deserve the best version of you. So give it to you. Enjoy.